Coming up on Sports Path, we give you an update on the Hill Murray volleyball team, and then we sit down with the coaches of the Co-op North and Tartan High School girls hockey team and talk about that transition. All that and more as we lead you down the Sports Path. Hello and welcome to Sports Path. I'm Michael Lawrence and I'll be flying solo tonight due to Sam Erickson being home sick. Get well soon, Sam. While it may be mid-November, it still seems like Mother Nature is still stuck in October. And I mean, no snow. That is a fantastic positive this late in the year. As always, we want to get things started with our trivia question. And tonight, we'll be going a little more in depth with the North and Tartan Co-op girls hockey team later in this program. However, this is not the first team that these two teams have joined together, which brings us to our trivia question. When was the last time, the last hockey season that District 6 2-2 schools, North and Tartan, were combined for girls hockey? If you know the answer, be sure to comment first correctly on our Facebook page, which is at facebook.com/TV19sports. And also be sure to, we're extending the deadline for this period and be the first ones to comment by November 23rd to win. And that is a Monday, and we still got those fabulous prizes, which are, you got this fantastic beanie to start things off with, and we also got this mug, TV19 on location, and this t-shirt. But that's not all. You can also win this fabulous gym bag if you're the more athletic type of person and need stuff to carry all your clothes and tennis shoes when you go to the gym. So just be the first ones to answer correctly and you have a chance to win these fantastic prizes. Now let's change gears for a little bit, going over to the Hill Murray volleyball team, picking up things in the semifinals of Section 4 AA bracket. The Pioneers took on second seed St. Croix and beat them 3-1. Then they faced off against New Life Academy after they won their match 3-0 against Academy of Holy Angels. And then in the section finals, both teams traded sets in the early going. In the fourth set with New Life Academy winning 2-1, Hill Murray won 28-26 to force set number 5, with it barely won 16-14. And we were lucky enough to get some footage how that last point went down. And a huge shout out to Chuck Turning for giving us that footage to use. Thanks so much. This would be Hill Murray's first state appearance since 2013, and it would be short-lived as they lost to Stewartville 3-1. Ellie Swartz tallied 14 kills to go along with her 13 digs. Then they moved to the consolation bracket where they beat Perham 3-2. This time, Hannah Angeli led the Pioneers in kills, recording 22, and then in the final round of the consolation bracket, they swept Morris Airy, Chicago, Alberta in 3 sets. While maybe not the ending that the Hill Murray may have wanted, still not a bad season after being conference champs, sectional champs, and playing in the state tournament. The Pioneers were led by senior standout Ellie Swartz, utilizing both her power and accuracy to accumulate 384 kills this season. In the regular season, she was responsible for approximately a third of the team kills that Hill Murray recorded. Not only has Swartz been impressive on the volleyball court, but this winter, she'll also be one of the leaders for the Pioneers basketball team. So, with the end of the volleyball season, that means all of your Fab 5 schools are officially done with the fall sports. And speaking of basketball, We're going to give you a preview of the winter sports, including hockey, right after this short break. And also, be sure to answer our trivia question.
Messed up your son's haircut. Do you try to fix it? Work with what you've got? Or show solidarity?
Thank you, babe.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Here at TV19, we are always looking for volunteers to work behind the scenes. If you have ever taken a liking to filming things with a camcorder, perhaps running the camera with other camera operators, whether it be running the camera, operating graphics, or even instant replay, you will love the fast-paced environment that is live television production. For more info on that, call Arlen Becker at 651-747-3821. That's 651-747-3821, or email him at arlen@onlocation.org. Welcome back to the studio once again. I'm Michael Lawrence, and while the fall season is officially over with football games all been played at TCF Stadium, but before we go any further, let's take a look at that trivia question once again. And it is, when was the last hockey season that District 622 schools, North and Tartan, were combined for girls hockey? If you know the answer to this question, comment on our status at our Facebook page at facebook.com/TV19sports. And a huge reminder that you have until Monday, November 23rd to win, and that's when we will close the deadline. And we got some fabulous prizes. I just want to show these quick once again. We got the t-shirt with your Fab 5 school logos. We got the mug. We got the beanie cap with the TV19 logo. See it right there. Fantastic logo. But that's not all. Got a chance to win a gym bag. You can use this puppy anytime you want. So we got multiple prizes that you could choose from. Just be the first one to answer correctly. And we got a little bit of a deadline. You got till Monday, November 23rd. And so now, this would be a good transition to our winter sports coverage, starting with hockey, of course. And just to give you an idea of how well your Fab 5 schools have been, listen to some of these stats as they include both boys and girls from last year. There have been 2 regular season conference champions, 3 teams securing the first seed in their respective sectional at 3 state qualifiers, and 1 state champion. So there has been some exciting things happening in hockey at this part of the Metro, but let's start with the girls hockey. As we see here, these are the team's records. You see Hill Murray went 20-5, Tartan went 16-9, and North kind of having a pretty bad record at 2-21-2, and Mahtomedi having 10-14-1, and White Bear having an 11-12 record. Now let's kind of break it down a little bit further. Hill Murray is looking to go for the 3rd state title, as last year they beat Minnetonka 2-1. Some of the players to kind of watch out for, which these were by the Star Tribune, would be defender Mackenzie Steffen, who is committed to play for Wisconsin after her high school career. Another Pioneer to watch out for is fellow defender Kenzie Prater, who can also play forward. And then in the regular season, Hill Murray went undefeated in conference play. We will touch on this a little bit later, but one of the teams trying to match pace with the Pioneers will be newly combined team consisting of Tartan and North. The Polaris struggled last year, but Tartan placed 2nd in the Metro East. Although they are off to a bit of a rocky start, they have gone 1-2 to open up the young season. White Bear Lake hopes that they can finish above 500 after going 8-8 in the Suburban East. Now, moving on to boys hockey. There we get a look at the record. Hill Murray once again with a strong record at 21-4. Tartan 12-12-1, a perfect 500 record. North 4-21, and Mahtomedi 21-2-2, and White Bear 25-0. and both Hill Murray and Miami Mead High both punched their tickets into the state tournament after being 1 seeds and their respective sectionals. However, both of them were chasing St. Thomas Academy when it came to conference play in the regular season. The Pioneers return Marco Reppenberger, who was second on the team in scoring, recording 18 goals. The Zephyrs returned their second leading scorer as well, and Jack Heinsick, who scored 17. White Bear Lake claimed the Suburban East as theirs last year, winning an impressive 20 games, but lost in the section finals last year to Stillwater. The top returners for the Bears are Dylan Gast and Wyatt Newpower. Gast has 14 goals and 12 assists, and Newpower has 6 goals with 22 assists. And while hockey has seen more success than basketball in this part of the Metro, there are still some decent options for the basketball teams to make some noise, and not only in the regular season, but in the postseason as well. Just like in hockey, we'll start with the girls. And there we see the records right now. Hill Murray, 20-6, Tartan, 6-20, North, 10-17, Miami Mead High, 20-6, and White Bear Lake, 19-7. White Bear Lake has seen the most success in the postseason as they advanced all the way to state before losing to Shakopee 62-56. This season they returned their leading scorer, number 45, Alison Hinch, who averaged about 15 points. The Bears look to challenge Roseville for the conference championship after the Raiders won it a season ago. Moving on to the Metro East, Hill Murray was last year's conference champion and advanced all the way to section finals, but were beat by New Prague. After star player Lindsay Maleka suffered an injury, they lose their top 2 scorers in Maleka and Graskalowitz, so expect Sammy Snyder and Ellie Schwartz to carry the load for the Pioneers. Miami Mead High also hopes a challenge for the Metro East, but they lost Allie Green, who averaged a double-double throughout the season, but they returned key starters Marissa Gustafsson and Emma Grothaus. Now, moving over to the boys, and last year it was kind of a complete mess, and we can kind of see why. Hill Murray with a 19-7 record, Tartan 21-6, North 6-20, Miami Mead High 16-19, and White Bear Lake 10-16. 16 in the Metro East, 6 teams has won 10 conference games, including Miami Mead High, Tartan, and Hill Murray. The Pioneers will be without guard Marshawn Wilson, who is currently on scholarship for the Division I Northern Illinois Huskies. The Pioneers will miss his 26-point average and nearly 11 boards, but they return both Simeon Davis and Chris Moore, who averaged over 10 points a game. Miami Mead High will lose their 7-footer, Sean Jelly, due to graduation, who will be playing baseball for Kentucky in the SEC, and they also lost their only other player to score in the double digits, which was Sean Newman. The Titans won 20 games in the regular season last year, and they returned both of their top scorers in Jevin Walker and Jordan Horn, who are both juniors, so look out for Tartan as they make some noise in the Metro East. And as I said before, the Metro East is anybody's game, and it could be one of the Fab 5 schools who could take home that conference title. But when we come back, we'll go into more depth about the North and Tartan Co-op as we sit down with our coaches, and we got some hockey highlights coming up.
Community media, from my point of view, is organic.
It's power.
Public access to me gives me an opportunity to get my word out to the larger community of the town that I can't get to on my own.
This is good programming. This is what people say, well, how come they don't ever write anything good in the news, right? This is the good news.
What we're doing is critical, it's important. We have to stay energized and motivated to do this work in our community, but understand that our real mission is to hold up our part as we encourage others to hold up their part around the planet.
much you may have missed some of our games, or you may want to rewatch your favorite Fab 5 school's victory, we just want to take the time to remind you that we post all of our broadcasts right on our Facebook page. And this includes old episodes of Sports Path. Be sure to check us out on Facebook and follow us on Twitter to catch the latest and greatest of your Fab 5 schools. And now let's go to our trivia question. When was the last hockey season that District 6 2-2 schools, North and Tartan, were combined for a girls hockey team? As we mentioned before, this year they're combining both of their teams, but we want to know when the first time that, or when was the last time that happened. If you know the answer, be sure to comment on our status at facebook.com/TV19sports. And hey, you got a little bit of a deadline. You got until Monday, November 23rd to answer this question correctly. So you got a little bit of time. You can even look it up, but just be the first ones to answer correctly, and you could win. Oh, sorry about that. You can win a t-shirt and this fantastic mug. Hey, you can win this beanie. And not to mention, you can also win this awesome gym bag. So you have a choice for any of these prizes. So if you know the answer to a trivia question, be the first one to answer correctly. And you got until Monday, November 23rd. And welcome back one final time. I'm Michael Lawrence. And now we've gotten through all of our winter previews. There have been some things that have been noticeably missing from tonight's show. Any guesses on what it is? It's highlights. So without any further ado, let's get to it. And we head down to the Polar Ice Arena, which is the home ice to North High School Polars. But wait a minute, it will also be home for Tartan Titans, as both schools will be combining their girls hockey teams starting this year. And as you can see, as we scan across the crowd, there are some blue and a little bit of red sprinkled in. And then there are two youngsters mixing it up right before the game. The helmets are lined up, ready to go. And the players are taking the ice. You kind of see that new logo there. You got the Polars red N and Tartan's blue T, just combining both teams. And the starters are starting to line up, getting ready for this first game to kick off the 2015 to 2016 season. And in the inaugural home matchup, they will face off against the Burnsville Blaze. In the opening period, the Blaze, Allie Dowell gets off a shot, but is easily saved by goalie Merritt Larson, who recorded 20 saves on the night. Later, Sloan Taylor, she steals the pucks on a wipeout, gives it ahead for a breakaway to Janet Hartung. An off-balance shot fires away and scores to notch the game's first goal. And North Tartan trying to answer off, using a little bit of a breakaway of their own. But goalie Lauren Bench, she was ready and she gets the save. And the Blaze still own the 1-0 lead. A while later, North Tartan trying to get their offense going. Amanda Grace fires it, but it is saved. But they continue to apply pressure. And Zoe Kaushal-Klein shoots it, but it will be deflected. But then eventually, Maddie Klaus comes up, sneaks away with it, and sneaks it in. And the game tied at 1. And North Tartan, well, they're trying to add on to the lead later in the game. But Sloan Taylor, she will come up and steal this one. She shoots it, gets the ricochet in her favor, and the 2-1 lead. And with less than a minute left in the game, North Tartan pulls their goalie, trying to force OT, but that thought quickly evaporates as the Burnsville defense gets a shot off from a long ways out to get the empty netter goal. And this brings the final score 1-3 in Burnsville favor. So it wasn't quite the christening that they hoped for, but it's still a young season, so there's still a lot of games left to be played. As I mentioned before, the North and Tartan have combined hockey teams, and they'll be one of 3 Metro co-ops starting this year in the Metro area. Jeb Brand sat down with the coaches to talk about what the transition has been like.
Howdy everybody, and welcome to Tartan Arena. I'm Jeb Brand. Tonight we have the opportunity to sit down with the co-head coaches of the new North Tartan girls hockey team. We've got Nick First and Allie Thunstrom here with us here tonight. And coaches, in your first year here, you've got a few practices under your belt, and you had an opportunity to get your first game underway against Burnsville the other night. Unfortunately, a tough loss, 3-1. But how has the transition of the co-op gone thus far?
It's gone pretty well. You know, there's obviously some growing pains in the difference between being at North full-time versus, you know, we're every other week pretty much here and at Tartan. But the girls have really gotten along great, and they're starting to click. And we actually played Northfield on Saturday and pulled out our first win in dramatic OT fashion. So
Awesome.
going in the right direction.
So off to a 1-1 start early on. Obviously last year Tartan had a great season, finishing second in the standings. North, on the other hand, a little bit of a rebuilding year. How have the girls adjusted thus far? A lot of them obviously probably growing up together, but generally being rivals now coming together as a team. How has the transition for the gals been?
I think it's been, to be honest, it's been really good. Better than expected. The girls, I mean, as most people know, they play together in the youth levels with Northeast Metro Stars merged together, and then they disperse at the high school level. So it was kind of a no-brainer for us to merge back together, and when we did, the girls got along really well. Things have been going great. I'm sure there'll be some bumps along the road, but so far it's been going really good.
Sure. How has the transition? Obviously, both of you have a few years coaching experience under your belt. You go from being the head coach of the team to all of a sudden have to share the responsibility. How have you guys delegated who's in charge of what and whatnot? How's the transition been for the coaching staff?
I think it's been really smooth. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of authority or whatever that comes with being the sole head coach, but it's actually really nice to have another person with that same experience to bounce ideas off of and to really have a give and take type of relationship.
Yeah, just piggybacking off that, it's really nice having someone there like affirming what you're doing is correct, and then when you're like, I'm not really sure, she's like, yeah, don't go that way. So it's a new experience that I've never been a part of, but it's been great.
What has the say practices? Obviously, different venues. You've got two different high schools merging together. How do they go about, I guess, where you're practicing game sites? Do you have a specific home arena, or they kind of split the time between both venues?
Yeah, it's split. We try to practice at the rink we're playing our games at that week, and we tried to balance it where, 7 home games are at Tartan Arena, 6 home games are at North. That was as balanced as we could get, and pretty much practices are along those lines where we're about 7 weeks here, 7 weeks there, so it's been balanced well.
Now both of you guys have a decorated hockey past, leading your respected high school. Allie with North St. Paul Polars, Nick obviously with the Tartan Titans.
More along for the ride than me.
Both of you able to take your teams to the state tournament. What experiences has that led now into your coaching days?
I think for me, I mean, it's such a special experience getting there, and you hear it from guys that are playing pro that they still remember playing in the state high school league tournament, and that is really how it is. I've had the opportunity to play for Boston College and to play on the national team, and I still remember stepping onto the ice for the first time during the state tournament. So that's just an experience that I want these girls to have and to, earn and to get that experience themselves, because it really is unforgettable.
Yeah, I don't have such a decorated career in hockey, but it was a great experience. I went 2 years with what you would call a blue-collar team. Not really a huge spotlight on anyone on the team. We had a lot of good players, well-rounded with a little bit of depth, but it was one of the best experiences of my athletic career. And we'd love to bring the girls there and let them experience that, because it's something you remember for the rest of your life.
Absolutely. Getting back to the 2015 season as we look ahead, what are some of the goals that you guys have in place? First off, early on, obviously trying to mend a team together, but also long term.
I'll let you take that.
I think we're looking, to at least put the team together where we build some camaraderie, where the girls are enjoying playing together, and build this cohesiveness between the two groups. And from there, we hope that the skill, the athleticism kind of take over, and we start finding those things like we're getting big goals, we're winning games, that we should win, which leads to, you know, being in games that we shouldn't be in and finding wins there. And then hopefully that, you know, that's going to carry over into playoffs, right? North, a little bit different history with playoffs. Tartan, I don't know for sure. If I look at the archives, I don't know that there's been a playoff win when it's just been Tartan by itself. Other than maybe a play-in game, there might have been one in the past that I'm unaware of. So we're looking to get into the playoffs and compete and find ourselves 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 wins, right? And be a competitive team that other teams are like, wow, we don't want to face off against North Tartan.
Sure. Obviously, with the gals coming together, you got to lean on senior leadership from both sides, both North St. Paul and then also Tartan. Who are some of the impact players or key leaders that we should keep an eye on for the upcoming 2015 season?
Definitely on the North St. Paul side, we have a lot of seniors. I think we have 11 this season, and you know, right now we have Lily Longeman that's been on the team since 8th grade. Great player. She's forward, and you know, she's definitely one of the players to watch. Also, we have a senior goalie, Marit Larson. She's been our goalie since she was a sophomore, played every game, pretty much every minute. Even last season, like we said, was a rebuilding year. She'd see 70 shots in a game. So she's very well tested, good veteran. And then we have Sarah Warner and Callie Kolbeck that have been, you know, on the team from their sophomore years and are really solid leadership.
On the Tartan side of the merger, there's a well-known name, Jordan Jackson. She's been playing high school, I think 7th, 8th grade. I'm not sure when you can start, but this is I think her 5th or 6th year lettering. She's a captain, 2-year captain. Just a great defenseman, leads the team out there. She'll be one to watch against Roseville, and then goaltender Maddie Campbell, who led us last year in the nets, and her and Marit will go toe-to-toe this year. Both great goaltenders, and they're going to push each other, which will be great for both of them. And we got some other seniors that have been around for a long time and have helped out. Tara Bigley, she's been around for a while and a big piece of this, and some other juniors and whatnot. There's a lot of girls, a lot of depth with the Tartan girls. So,
as far as goaltending goes, will they split time or whoever's got the hot hand type approach?
So far, they've split games, but it's really early. I mean, obviously, if a goalie's got a shutout streak going and she's playing, she's going to play. We're not going to sit and say, yep, every game they're going to switch. It's going to be who's playing best. But, you know, hopefully it pushes both of them to really come with their A game every night.
Well, guys, I want to thank you for taking some time out to chat with TV19. Best of luck in the 2015 season, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks to Jeff for sitting down and getting those interviews. It's always interesting to hear stories from our Fab 5 schools. And there we get a pretty good look at what the North Tartan logo looks like. You have the North N there, the red N with the North Star. And then we got the Tartan blue T with that lightning bolt. And so they're just literally combining both those teams as they kind of did before. And now let's go to our trivia question. And remember, you still got through Monday, November 23rd to answer it. And our question is, when was the last hockey season that District 622 schools, North and Tartan, were combined for girls hockey? And if you know the answer, go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/TV19sports. You've got a little bit of time, so go over there right away, do a little bit of research, and be the first one to answer, and you can win some fabulous prizes. So we got them right here. We got the mug, we got the t-shirt, we got the beanie hat, and we got the gym bag. Now, let's take a look at our upcoming broadcast schedule on November 19th. We got girls hockey with that combined team, Tartan versus St. Paul United. And we got girls basketball, Blaine versus Matamidhide on December 1st. And then on December 4th, will be girls hockey, Simley versus Hill Murray. Then on December 8th, there'll be boys hockey, White Bear Lake versus Hill Murray. A huge rivalry, always intense, especially in high school athletics. And then on December 9th, it'll be girls hockey, Edina versus Hill Murray, which is a rematch of a semifinal state tournament appearance between both those teams. Obviously, Hill Murray came away with the victory. And then on December 18th, it's girls basketball, Tartan versus Matamidhide. And on December 21st, it's Santiago versus White Bear Lake. And then on December 22nd, it's Tortino versus Matamidhide. And now that's all the time we have for you tonight. Thank you for watching. Be sure to catch us back on December 4th for the next episode of Sports Path, December 2nd.